Christ is more of an artist than the artists. He works in the living spirit and the living flesh. He makes men instead of statues. Vincent Van Gogh. Art is one of the most defining aspects of human civilization. From the dawn of time to our modern era, art has often showcased our highest ideals of beauty and technical prowess. As the great English art historian, Kenneth Clark, has said many times on his famous program Civilization, to look back at the history of art is to look at the journal of mankind as it marches through time, highlighting man's desires, fears, and beliefs. Pope Francis has reflected this sentiment about art and the importance of beauty, saying on February the 17th of this year that beauty can touch in everyone what is universal, especially the thirst for God, crossing the limits of language and culture. The Holy Father places an important role on the authentic artist because he is able to speak about God better than anyone else. But where does our need to create art come from? From the undefinable conflict of emotions inside of us, resulting from the pain and routine of daily life? Or is it from someplace deeper, where we try to visualize our suffering and place that value into a place of worship and ritual?
Historically, we see that suffering, lack, limitation is a great incentive for humans to create. This seems to me to go against a purely materialistic and Darwinian view of human evolution. A very poignant example is found in Van Gogh, who, in one of his letters, expresses his suffering at not being able to have a family and not being able to have children, and that this drives him to generate thoughts instead of children. And this fact, nevertheless, makes him part of the human family.
There are obviously different levels of artistic experiences and representations of beauty. Some are banal and commercial, others are simple yet meaningful. And then there are those representations of beauty that it seems we see less and less of, but still call us. Those uniquely powerful and complex works of art that seem to confuse the modern mind, yet speak to our soul.
Sometimes we have to discover meaning in things that, at first glance, are ugly. They even cause us to look away, to look the other way. The reference to Christ crucified seems logical to me. Christ crucified is certainly not a beautiful, pleasant sight. Yet there is a beauty in the crucifix that is at a deeper level than what can be perceived by the senses. There is a formal, theological, metaphysical beauty.
As the benefits of modern science make our life easier, though the cost for this privileged existence of relative ease is that at times we feel as if we are cogs in the machine, slowly becoming more machine-like, then it begs the question, if we are becoming more machine-like, then is our art becoming more machine-like as well?
La meccanizzazione è sempre stata un rischio, per così dire.
Mechanization of the creative process has always been a risk for art. Precisely because mechanization would seem to be the opposite of creativity. Creativity is free and unfettered, while mechanization is rigidly structured. The algorithm is not free to create, but rather learns a seemingly free process and replicates it. What the algorithm cannot or fails to grasp, however, is the innovative component in the use of rules, and thus the creative innovation, the rule breaking that cannot be taught. An algorithm cannot be taught about rule breaking precisely because such creative breaking is something that exceeds, or at least I think at present exceeds, the performance of a machine. Most importantly, because the machine has no desire to break the rule as a human being does, or to go beyond the rule as human creativity sometimes requires.
Il desiderio di rompere la regola come l'essere umano o di andare oltre la regola, non credo, ecco, non credo che...
So if the primary factor in the creation of art is the innovative spirit to surpass the permitted boundaries, then one wonders if this creative spark is something that could ever be replicated in artificial intelligence.
Sono piuttosto scettico perché effettivamente
I am rather skeptical because actually what seems to me to be characteristic of humans is precisely this spontaneous tendency to create. Creativity is a necessity for human beings. Just look at children. Children starting from a few months of age begin to draw and create. I don't think there is an essential difference between the child expressing himself through a drawing and God expressing himself by creating the universe. This drive to create something that is independent of us, that makes us somehow eternal, is typical of the human being, created in the image and likeness of God.
dire, no? Spontaneo, mi sembra proprio tipico dell'essere umano.